Good morning. Today is Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025. It is early in the morning. I've been up for a while and life is good. Life is good. I wanted to come on to this morning to talk a little bit about my personality type or how I feel that I am. And the reason why it's on my mind is because recently I went to an event and I said at the time, when we had to go around the room and introduce ourselves, I said, oh, this year I started 3 businesses, and then they said, what do you want to manifest by the end of the year? And I was like, my divine career and blah, blah, blah. And I felt like it seemed like maybe I was a little bit, or I felt like maybe if some people were looking at it from the outside looking in, that it's like, girl, why are you trying to do so much? Why are you doing so much? And why don't you just focus on one thing or 2 things or whatever? And the thing is I'm just the type of person that I don't have really I don't have kids, I don't have pets, I don't have a man. There's nobody. I live by myself. I don't have roommates. I'm also introverted and in some ways a little bit of a loner, not in a bad way, but I just enjoy my own company. And so, I pour my energy into things that I'm interested in. And right now these are the things that I'm interested in. And so, there's been other times in life where I've poured myself into drumming and was intense about drumming and intense about tap dance for a long time, and also intense about my career and all the things, and then it just changes. And so I just wanted to talk about that a little bit and just say that it's part of my personality, in the sense that I can be intensely into something and then intensely be just as disinterested and ready to move on from it as well. And so right now I'm in the phase of intense interest in being in the events space and doing events and those kinds of things. And I would say that even though I have just stated that I get bored easily, the thing that I do like about events is that they kind of have a beginning, middle, and an end, and then you move on to something new and you get to do new creative activities and new things. So I also don't like doing the same events over and over again. That's not interesting to me. Like, I am not the type of person. I'm the research and development department. I am not the the manufacturing widgets type of department. That's just not me. So anyways, I feel like I'm not profoundly speaking exactly what I want to say. So let me just read something about my personality that may help. So I've noticed this pattern in myself my whole life. I can be intensely involved in something, a project, a subject, an experience, and then almost overnight it seems I'm intensely disinterested. To other people that shift might look confusing, but it's not because I don't care. What's really happening is that my mind is built for exploration and challenge, not for staying in one lane forever. So let me just pause and say, hence NDF Unbound, right? Like, I don't like to be boxed in doing the same stuff over and over again. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and keep reading. So this goes back as far as I can remember. When I was only 2 or 3 years old, my mom had me tested. The person who did the analysis said, Nicole needs to be challenged because she gets bored easily. They even recommended putting me into kindergarten early, but my mom chose not to because she didn't think I was socially or emotionally ready yet. Because when she dropped me off at childcare, I used to cry my eyes out. So yeah, I understand that. But the point is, even then, someone saw this trait in me. It's a lifelong pattern, not something I just picked up as an adult. And so shout out to Allison Bailey, one of my high school best friends, who back when I recently saw her, she introduced me to a personality test. And in the personality test, it was discovered, or my analysis said, that I'm an IS, S as in Sam, T as in Tom, P as in Paul, A. So I'm an ISTP-A, also known as the Virtuoso personality type. And apparently this is some kind of Myers-Briggs framework. So it says virtuosos are hands-on learners. We're curious, practical, and wired to figure things out by diving straight in. When something catches my attention, I don't dabble. I immerse myself. I want to know how it works, how it feels, how far I can take it. That intensity is a gift. It lets me go deep, brings things to life, and experience them fully. But here's the other side of it. Once I've solved the puzzle or met the challenge, my energy shifts. The spark that drove me fades, and I'm ready for the next thing. To some, that looks like distraction, or maybe, I don't even know, flakiness maybe. But to me, it's simply the rhythm of my personality. I'm not abandoning anything. I'm following the same curiosity that pulled me in to begin with. And then also, too, there's another test called a DISC test, which I don't even know what DISC stands for. But my DISC profile explains it, too. I'm a very high D, and that means I'm decisive, action-oriented, always moving towards results. And at the same time, I'm extremely low I, which means I don't need constant social feedback or outside approval to stay motivated. I can get laser focused on the task itself, when the task is done, I don't linger out of habit. That's not coldness, it's clarity. And while I chase challenge in projects, I anchor myself in stability where it counts. My home is my foundation. I don't like moving once I found a space that feels right. I also don't have kids, pets, or a partner right now, which means I've had the freedom to pour myself fully into the things that interest me without splitting my energy. That combination, stability at the core, freedom on the surface, is how I'm able to keep reinventing what I do without losing who I am. Because if anybody knows me and knew me back in the day when I was involved in tap dancing, they would know the level of intensity that I had for tap dancing. And that's how disinterested I am in tap dancing now. I'm just not, the challenge and the thrill is over. And the same thing with drumming. So that's just how I am. And even to a certain point, singing in choirs and stuff like that, like I still love to sing at home, but once I climb the mountain and pass the challenge, then it's just not something that I find interested in anymore. So anyway, so when I dive in and then move on to the next thing, it's not chaos and it's not a character flaw. It's just my wiring. My personality is designed for curiosity, variety, and intensity in motion, balanced with stability and stillness at the root. That balances who I am. That is also why events and project management world has been such a natural fit for me over the last 13 years. Events have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Each one is its own living project, and when it's complete, there's always a new challenge waiting. That cycle keeps me engaged because routine work and doing the same thing over and over again feels draining and mundane to me. Even in events, I don't like repeating the exact same format again and again. I thrive when there's freshness, variety, and a new spark to bring to life. That's what keeps my energy sharp and my work inspired. I'm designed for reinvention, and that's my strength. And the other thing that I would add to that is that I'm also a very, very creative person. Like, I might not necessarily have the same type of creativity that other people have, but I'm a very creative person. And if I can't use my creativity, if I'm not learning, if I'm not growing and expanding, if I'm not challenged, then it's just time for me to move on. So anyways, I wanted to share that. So if I've been in your life and you experienced my intensity in terms of projects we were working on or things we were doing together, and then all of a sudden I disappeared, that's why. It's not personal. I still love you. And like I said, it's not personal. It's just part of my personality. Anyway, make it a great day.